All right, welcome everybody to the Sam Crescent Art Stream. This is your host, Sam Crescent. We are live streaming from the Sam Crescent Art Studio in Southern California. I am the artist Sam Crescent, and today I'm going to be working more on my Strength Monsters comic book and animated feature. Right now, I'm finishing up an epic story arc. We're going to be going through these layouts right here and finishing them off. But before I do that, I've got to warm up. So that's what I'm going to start with. Let me get some streaming music up and running here.
Sam phone with Sim and iPad free.
All right. Got that going. It is Thursday. April. It's April. It's Thursday in April. And it is the year 2026. What's the date? I don't even know. Can I see it anywhere around here? It's the 30th. It's going to be the first tomorrow of May. We will be into May. We will be headed for summer. Oh, there's so much to do, unfortunately. And I'm working hard though to try and get all these comics and stories finished, because I want to build my online ecosystem, and that's going to consist of my website that has my streaming platform on it, where you can stream all my cartoons. It's going to have my comic books, all of the different comic books that you can order, with all of the cool extra stuff like the t-shirts, the trading cards, the screen printed prints and everything, all that stuff. I'm working on it day by day, trying to build an empire brick by brick, and you can watch me do it here on all these live streams. I am documenting my process, one page at a time, one drawing at a time, one day at a time. Stack those days on top of each other, and over the course of many years, what if I turn this way, if then it doesn't look like you're looking at the back of my head as much. Over the course of many years, you will have built something out extremely substantial. The key is just sticking to it over and over and over again. Believe it or not, I have worked like this for years already, but I wasn't streaming it. I wasn't documenting it. But now that is no longer the case. I am now documenting everything. I'm now streaming everything and doing everything I can to let the world know about these projects, about my comics, about my art, and what I'm doing and what I am making. So here's what's going on. I can't remember what my convention schedule is right now. I have to look at the calendar, but I don't have anything coming up for a little bit. I think Rose Bowl might be the next one that I go to, which is, I believe, May 9th. I was going to be powering through a convention every weekend from now until the middle of July, and I nixed that plan. I nixed that idea. Why did I do that? Because there's a lot of reasons, but one major one is that my inventory it keeps getting super thin, and it keeps selling out. And so when I go to these shows, I don't have anything to sell because I've sold everything. And I have been working on scaling my inventory with some level of efficiency. And unfortunately, I screen print most of my stuff, and I do it myself, especially my t-shirts and my smaller prints. And I started having problems with my printing press, my old press. It's an old Raynor press, and I started printing bigger and bigger prints that require larger and larger screens, and that Raynor press, it can't really hold registration with the bigger screens. Things, I get drifting registration, I get problems, and it came to a point where I'm trying to scale my merch, trying to scale my operations, and what I end up doing is just fighting my tools. And it's already difficult. Screen printing is already difficult. Doing big runs of prints is difficult. Building out a bunch of stuff is difficult. And now, if I'm fighting my equipment on top of that, it makes everything even more miserable. And so I decided to nix operations on printing. I nixed operations on scaling out the inventory, and I ordered a new press, a better press, a higher quality one that's not going to give me the same problems. That press, I will not have it in my hands till May 18th. And so I'm doing what I can. I'm restocking what I can, the things that can be done easily on the old equipment. I'm working on it to make sure that I have everything. But the mass scaling operation, the mass production operation of getting my inventory of my business bolstered so that I can then just hit the conventions like a raving lunatic shot out of a cannon weekend after weekend and not run out of stuff to sell. That is where I'm trying to get to. I will be there once I have the new press. Another bottleneck will be basically eliminated. That's wrong. Another bottleneck will be eliminated, and I'll be able to continue to, what the heck? Move forward with operations and hopefully end with a really strong fall season. I do have some great shows lined up for this next month. Phoenix Fan Fusion, I'm gonna be there. I'm looking forward to Phoenix Fan. I'm gonna be at all the Rose Bowls. I look forward to that. I'm gonna be at the Creep IE Aftermath. That one should be huge. It should be a blast. What else? What else is coming? I don't even remember. Bunch of stuff like that. Let's pull up some Bridgman now and do some anatomical studies, okay? Now, yesterday, I was working on the structure of the neck, and let's continue with that practice. I don't want to make the warm-up too long or too intense, or it will fatigue me. So we're looking at the neck here. We're going to draw the sternocleidomastoid muscle right there. We're going to put in the larynx here, just a simple indication. I'm just working on structure, working on the primitive shapes and forms, and I'm not worrying about making things look realistic right now. We've got the collarbone here coming up, collarbone here coming up, and there, this is the sternocleidomastoid muscle. We'll erase that part of the neck so you can see it. We can see a little bit of the levator scapula coming off the back here. And then behind that, we have the trapezius muscle coming down like that. And there's the front shot of the neck. There's sort of like these tendons that come like this, but you really don't see them. But there's the structure of the Adam's apple, or whatever you want to call that. Okay, let's see here. Let's do another neck shot here. Make our cylinder here like this. And we're going to put the chin in here. Whoa. Bring that down. Bring that down. Let's get this in. Okay, again, we've got the sternocleidomastoid muscle coming across there. The tendon that comes off here. in here, attaching onto the collarbone, which that's a whack collarbone. Collarbone kind of has a shape like that. Okay. And we have the levator scapula that we can kind of sometimes see there, and the trapezius muscle coming behind it. Right here, you've got the Adam's apple, larynx, whatever you call this thing, coming down like that. You don't see those lines, but I'm just putting in the structure. And then we have the sternocleidomastoid on this side, and you've got the collarbone here, there, and the trapezius muscle. There we go. We're drawing necks. We're making sure that our neck structure is solid. We'll do another one. We'll do this classic Bridgman one here with the head. So we're going to put in the ball for the head. Okay, we've got to get the occipital ridge because this is an upshot. Let's get this, the chin and the jaw here coming in. Got this ear here, cheekbone, eye, nose if you want to put it in. Muzzle of the mouth. Better chin there. Okay, so sternocleidomastoids right there. We'll get this neck coming through here. And collarbone. Coming down here, actually. Let's redo that collarbone. That's whack. It's gonna be like that. Okay, here. Sternocleidomastoids comes down to the front of this collarbone here. Attaches on, tendon comes off like that. We've got the levator scapula that's coming from the spinous processes of the vertebra and going to the side corner of the scapula. And then here we've got the trapezius muscle like that. We've got to get this voice box here in, and there we go. That's another structure of the neck. Let's do another one here. I'll do this one with the head as well. Wax circle. We'll do our Loomis abstraction for this one here. Get that side plane there. Actually, I want to change this angle of this. I'm gonna make this like a slight upshot. So we're gonna change the angle of that a little bit there. Bring that back. Bring this down. We'll make the sort of a Iron Man Tron looking head. And then I'm gonna structure the neck out there. Let's get the eyes put in. Nose. Muzzle of the mouth. Okay. Ear. Sternocleidomastoid comes from the back of the ear. Put in the collarbone. That's a little high. Sternocleidomastoid comes down and attaches. Comes off the side. Levator scapula. Trapezius muscle. Over here on this side. Sternocleidomastoid. We've got the voice box right there. The Adam's apple, I mean. I don't know why I call that the voice box. There we go. We can construct out the front plane of that forehead, the brow. We can put in where the orbital of the eye is. There we go. All right, I think we're warmed up enough. Let's move on and get this comic book drawn, okay? So, situation is need a new panel here. Let's see, we're dealing with this stuff. Let's knock the opacity down so it doesn't interfere with my line, the new lines. And this is going to be P4. And it's going to be these various poses of Baby Monkey coming back to life. Well, let's switch brushes here. I don't want to be on the G pen. We're going to go with the felt marker because I want a dead line for this style of comic book that I'm doing. All right, let's see what's happening. We've been going live now for a total of 16 minutes. I went through that warm-up pretty quick. I didn't want to fatigue myself too much on the warm-up. We are also now live on Trovo. If you haven't heard of that platform, it is a gaming platform, and I just added it to the multi-stream today. So we've got Twitch going, YouTube going, Kick going, and Trovo going now. There will be more lives added to the live stream. I'm just looking to try and get as much reach as I can, get people aware of my work, get people aware of my art in any way possible. I've hit the convention circuit hard. I'm going to keep doing it, and I'm going to keep hitting those conventions, but I'm also now hitting the online live stream verse, getting a documentation of what I'm building out, what I'm doing. One day when all of this is a cultural phenomenon and a pop culture historical impacted something or another, people will look back and they'll be like, look it, there was that guy. He did it. He started with the live. He was doing those live streams. He did all the conventions. He got the word out, got it so people knew about art. And probably everything I'm saying will never come to fruition, but what will come to fruition is this comic book. What is going to come to fruition is the work that I'm making. What will come to fruition is my cartoon. This is stuff that's almost done. This is stuff that's like we've been working on. I've been working on relentlessly. I've assembled my small crew to help me with it, and it's gonna happen. That's a guarantee. Now, let's see what we can do to continue to bring all of this into a reality. Baby monkey. He has a little chin. Something like that. I don't want to make it more like that. All right, we're back in this. Now let's see what else. What else you guys want to know about? What can I tell you about? You want to know what's going to happen with the Fed, with the Federal Reserve? I'll tell you what I think's going to happen. They're going to have to raise interest rates at some point in time this year. If they don't, we're going to experience another round of massive inflation. In fact, it's already started, and it's going to keep going. There's one thing that I can guarantee you. It's that the value of your money is going to continuously decline for the rest of your life. There's nothing you can do about it. So there actually is some things you can do about it. Move money into stuff that's not cash, that's not going to lose value. That's what it has to be done. It's brutal. It's gonna be brutal out there. I think the next several years could be really tough. I was looking into copper mining lately, specifically starting up my own scrap yard, copper scrap yard. I think it would be a good idea in the sense that the problem with storing copper, like hoarding copper, is that it's you need so much of it, and it piles up. It's heavy. I mean, you're talking about it's like $4 a pound. It's not like gold, you know. But I like copper because there's gonna be a need for there's gonna be a need for copper. It is there's still new supply. It's new sources. They can add sources. Mines will, and you know, they'll come across a vein of copper. They'll increase their copper production. They'll decrease their copper production. It's going to be cyclical, like all commodities. But in the long term, we're going to need copper because the world's going to need power. It's going to need energy, and you need copper to conduct that energy. That's why I'm looking at, well, what if I got my own copper scrapyard set up and we just started scrapping copper, you know? Now, there's a lot more to it than that. It's not quite that easy to do. Many problems with scrapping copper. One, the equipment actually isn't too bad if you start out small. You know, you get yourself a wire stripping machine that just strips wires for you. You just feed the wires through and it strips it. You know, we're talking a few $1,000. Now that is a lot of money, but when you compare it to, you know, heavy equipment that can cost tens of thousands of dollars, it's a lot easier to come up with $2,000 to invest in something like that than if it was like a $10, $20, $30,000 piece of equipment. Then you're going, oh man, how am I going to do this? I don't want to borrow money right now. I don't want to borrow money really at all ever. So anyway, so that's actually good news is, you know, you can get a copper mining machine. They'll strip wires and stuff for you, a couple $1,000. But you got to find a place to source your copper. You got to find electricians or construction people and everything that are, you know, that will bring you their copper, you know, and so that you can start your operation. So I'm not saying I'm going to start up this copper stripping thing right away. It's just something I'm kind of interested in, that I'm looking into, that I think could be kind of the future-proof business to invest in at some point in time, that would also be inflation-proof as well. Now, prices of copper, demand, it's going to rise and fall. Prices are going to rise and fall, but there'll always be a demand for it. Even over the long term, there's going to always be a need for power, a need for energy, and therefore a need for copper. So that's all I'm going to say about copper. Let's talk about Lumalore. So the Lumalore painting projects, if you don't know about Lumalore, I've been talking about it for a long time now. It's a very strange paint that conducts an electric current and lights like a light bulb. What am I going to do with it? I've got ideas for all this custom stuff I want to paint. the thing about it is, I'm trying to acquire all the equipment so that I can paint with Lumalore. That requires a spray gun. It requires like some kind of a painting booth. It requires quite a lot of things actually. And I put an order in for a spray gun, but it's out of stock, and so I won't have it for 2 weeks. Which means there'll be no Lumalore for 2 weeks. Now, yeah, I think that's good enough. What else can I tell you about it? I do have a shed coming, a small shed that I ordered. That I'm hoping to set up my Lumalore paint area at, because I can't paint it like in the house. You could do it if you have a garage or something. There's options out there, but I'm gonna start doing the Lumalore painting with the shed, in the shed. I'll get the shed set up. Am I picking up Ronan today?
I'll let you know if I get off class at like 2:30.
All right, so just I'll assume I'll pick him up unless I hear from you, okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so he's got this on his head now. All right, so anyway, the business though that I'm focusing on right now is my art business. So I'm not gonna start mining copper anytime soon, or I'm not mining it. I'd be scrapping it. Is what I'd be doing. I'm not gonna start scrapping copper anytime soon, but it's definitely on the it's on my radar of potential like things that I would like to delve into in the future. Is a copper scrapping operation of my own. All right. We're working through this pretty efficiently right now. Situation with this character is an order. He's half zombie. Oh, I messed up these eyes too, big time. I forgot that his eyes are like this now. Because he's half zombie, half not zombie. It has to go like that. He has one eye that's squinted at all times. And then he has one eye just popping out of his head. Now, there's a lot that I have to get done today. I need to get down to my booth down at Connect San Diego, which is in Ocean Beach off Newport. They have a bunch of my art in there, a bunch of my stickers and some of my t-shirts and stuff, but I got to get in there and restock it, especially because the summer's coming and that place just, it gets nuts. I'm gonna hit a save on this. It's kind of weird. All right, we got some save action there. And so it gets nuts down there. I mean, we're talking good sales, but I've got to be ready for them. I've got to get that place stocked and dialed. I've got to get every t-shirt in there. I've got to get every sticker I can up. I've got to get all of the stuff ready as much as possible so that I'm ready for summer. Because I think the summer can be epic, but and the booth is better than it's been. I've got more things to offer, more things available, but it can go more. It can go more, and it needs to. And I need to get more. I need to get more branding up. You know, like QRs. I could put, you know, watch me work. I could have QRs to all these live streams, so people that go in the shop could see that I live stream every day, and they could check out what I'm working on and everything. So that I need to do it, you know, this week. I need to get in there, restock, add more stickers, add more everything to Connect. Okay, these like hoses here, and this is actually not a segmented hose. This is not a segmented hose. It's actually a clear hose, so you can see the bubbles of the fluid traveling in and out of his brain. That's important. I don't know why I started drawing that segmented. It's, you know, when you create so many characters and stuff, you just start doing things like that, and it just happens, you know. But definitely I want to create many characters, and I have been, and I will be creating many more. That is one of the things, if you study successful artists, the ones that are the most successful, they create characters. They create iconic characters that people relate to and love and like and want to invest in. You know, look at like Rob Liefeld, who created Deadpool, Domino, Bad Rock, Prophet, Evangeline. Like he just created Cable. He created all these characters, some for his own company, some for Marvel. But when you create tons of characters like that, it cements a legacy. Look at Matt Groening from created The Simpsons. What does The Simpsons have? A huge cast of original characters. Look at Charles Schultz, one of the most successful cartoonists and artists of all time. What did he create? Snoopy, Charlie Brown, Peppermint Patty, Linus, Pigpen. I don't even remember all the other names of them all. Lucy. He created a huge cast of original characters. Again, create a huge cast of original characters. That's what we're doing here, guys. That's what we're doing. We're creating our huge cast of original characters. And this is Baby Monkey, a half zombie, half baby monkey. Wears a diaper. He has this thing plugged into him that that sends this anti-zombie serum through his brain and keeps him from being a flesh-eating zombie. He doesn't eat flesh, but if somebody ripped this off his head or ripped these out of his arms, he would go back to being a flesh-eating baby monkey, and he would destroy everybody. And so he's one of the characters, original characters I made in the Strength Monsters universe. And there's so many that I'm making. And really, you want to make hundreds of them. Don't even think like that's the other mistake. You know, oh, I make one character, you know, and it didn't become popular or whatever. Don't create one character, create hundreds of them. There's this guy that I was vending next to at WonderCon. His name was Ken Penders, I believe. Or Penders, I think it was Penders. Anyway, he wrote the Sonic the Hedgehog comic book for like decades, or at least a decade or more. And this guy, while he was writing the book, you know, he was writing it, he was the writer, he created something like, I asked him how many characters he created. Over 200. So in that 10 years time, he created over 200 characters in the Sonic the Hedgehog universe. And this guy's kind of controversial even. So what happened is he creates these 200 characters, writes all these stories, and then he sees later that a lot of his characters and stuff he created as a writer were being used in Sonic the Hedgehog things by Sega, and they're not paying him any royalties for his work. Well, he registered copyrights on every character he created, and Sega never paid attention to it, never contested it. And so he had, now when I say registered it, and what that means is in the United States copyright law, you actually own copyright as soon as you create the thing. The moment you've created it, you have copyright on it. However, you can register your copyright with the U.S. trademark, with the copyright, not the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. It's with a different office, the Copyright Office. Fill out a form. I think you pay like $60, and you register it, and then they have it on file that you own it. And that's important to do, because if you get in a situation where there's litigation involved and you have registered your copyright, it instantaneously nicks the whole court case. Everything is instantaneously, it's pretty much going to irrefutably, you have that, you have the strongest case possible. You will be able to be awarded the most damages possible should, you know, somebody infringe. Now, most of the time, it's going to be a situation like what this Ken Penders was in, where characters he created while writing a book that he, his contract, I guess, did not say that did not specify anything about all the original characters being owned by Sega. You know, I guess his contract didn't specify anything. In fact, it appeared that Sega wasn't really even able to produce a contract in court other than something that was Xeroxed and the court more or less kind of threw it out because they didn't have an actual contract on file anywhere. They just found like a Xerox of something that I don't think they could even determine what it was. So he ended up winning the case. He got paid a huge payday from Sony for that, and he got ownership over all its characters, and so Sony can't use any of those characters unless they pay him a royalty. And he's been strangely been able to also publish his material that he did because he has the copyright for it, even though they're characters that are owned by Sega. They're not going to mess with it anymore because they already lost. But the point being is, again, create your own characters and own those characters. You've got to do that. That's what I'm doing. It's super important to do that. Now, what else we have going on today is, and don't trust all my details I said about the Ken Penderson Sega case. You can, it's all on Wikipedia, it's all online. If you're interested, you want to know the facts, do not just trust my word. My memory and my information is good, is usually pretty good, but even the best sometimes get things wrong. So verify. If you want to know about it, go online. You know, go to the Wikipedia, check it out, follow the links on there, you know, do some due diligence, and you can learn about his case and how he beat Sega and how he got to own his work. Now, so today, will I make it down to Connect to restock? Don't know. Gonna try. What else has to happen? I've got to set up some screen print stuff. That's for sure. I've got to finish working on the final mix and sound on my cartoon. That's the stage it's on, actually. So everything is basically done except the sound. The final sound design, the final sound mix. So I'm going to work on that today. Once I finish that, there's still a few minor things that we need. Got to make the credits page, which I've got to get the assets together for that, because it's not just going to be scrolling credits. There's going to be some stuff happening along the sides of the credits that'll make it kind of entertaining. So I've got to put together that credits page. I've got I'm going to see if I can hit up a couple of friends to throw in a few extra little voice action stuff for me in there, or voiceover stuff for me in there, so that, you know, we can add a few more voices. We have speech bubbles and stuff, but it'd be cool if I had a little bit more of that. So try and get that, but the most part, I don't want to get bottlenecked. I don't want the production to get slowed up, held up. We need to get it done, need to get it out, need to get the website up, and all those things. So that's where that's where that all stands. Now, what will I do on that today? I'm gonna make a little progress. The other thing I want to do is I want to get down to the library. I need to renew my library card. I tried to do it online yesterday and I couldn't get into the system. So I've got to actually go there, because there's a bunch of really rare, strange, and obscure out-of-print books I found on some very specific topics. These are highly detailed manuals. These are not even normal books. This is stuff you would never even have heard of. This is stuff that I know about because of the amount of deep research that I do on various topics that catch my interest. But most normal people, they're just going to be clueless about all this stuff. And so I'm used to that, though. I'm okay with it. Pretty much been dealing with normies my whole life, and I'm fine with that. I'm partially joking, guys, okay? So, before you get offended, what I'm going to tell you, though, is this one particular book, it's not really a book. It's a very rare out-of-print manual on 4-color screen printing. And I'm very interested to see this manual, and I'm going to probably photograph the pages inside of it to put into my own records, so I can reference it. I found one copy online, and the seller is asking $800 for it, which I absolutely will not be paying that for that. But I found several university libraries, though, that have it. I have not found it in the public library system. So the university libraries, though, will lend it. So I have to get my library card, and then I need to set it up, put in the librarian a request to have this book sent to my local library. Now, why would I go to this extent, though? Well, because I am looking for anything I can find, extra information, any kind of extra little knowledge that can help improve my printing, especially my 4-color process prints. And this manual looks to be, I'm very interested to know what's in it, to know its contents. But here's the thing that I'm going to tell you, is that if I find this manual, I will share the content with you. I will tell you what is in there. I will not keep it a secret. I will literally just tell you every page what's on the page. Okay? I'm not going to break the law and distribute the manual or rip it and upload it to the internet, but I will explain it to you page by page. Oh, this is what the first page says and what it's telling you to do. And most of you, though, probably aren't screen printers. So, you know what? I forgot about this guy, is that he's got straps on here because he has a backpack. But even if you're not a screen printer, so therefore you have no interest or use for any of this knowledge, it might still be entertaining to know about. Let's see, what else? The other books that I'm gonna request, I don't remember them off the top of my head. It's a list, but they're books on game design and development. Now I'm talking about like video game design, desktop game design, board games, card games, like that kind of stuff, like all manner of games. I've been doing some deep research on the game development because I'm getting closer and closer to having to start the play testing and developing the final gameplay and rule set of my collectible card game, Zombie Command, that I very much hope will be available by the end of the summer. I wanted it to be ready for the summer, have a summer release, but unfortunately it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. We've got about 5 cards left to illustrate, which I just finished one of them yesterday, so I got to draw 4 more cards, send in my colorist, colors them, sends it back. Then I've got to do the final adjustments and rendering on them so that they look as awesome and as cool as they possibly can. And then I don't even remember what I do then. Then we've got to design the box, the how-to manual. There's a lot of work still that has to go into making this, but once it's done, it'll be a cool thing for sure. And that's the problem is, you have the long game and you have the short game. And I've been putting a lot of my time into the long game. What does that mean? The long game means the long game is something like this, like a full comic book, a full animated feature, a universe with a whole bunch of characters that you tell a story with so that you can actually build them out, build out their personalities, build out their mythology, their story arc, and all that stuff. That's all long game, because that's stuff where it's going to take you months and years to make it, and so it's hard because you're working on something and you have no way to earn any income, any anything for your family or to pay your bills or anything off your work for a very long time till the thing has been completed. Okay. And so that's the downside about the long game. A short game is stuff that like you can make and you have to market immediately, like a t-shirt, especially if you can screen print your own shirts like me. I could think of a shirt today and I could literally have it, if I worked fast enough, in my hand, listed on the internet to sell by the end of the day. That's short game. That's fast, and there's power in that because you can iterate fast, you can move fast, you can get designs out quickly. The one thing that you need though to be able to do that is empty blocks of time. So I may not be able to do it in a day. It might take me two, because I have other responsibilities. I have family, kids, things like that I have to, that I have to take care of. So because of that, but even then, if it's something really, really, I could tell my wife, hey, look at this. Let me get this thing made today and get it on the market tonight. And if it's urgent, she can see that, oh yeah, that's going to benefit us. That's going to earn the family some money. She'll be like, yeah, okay, do it. And she'll help me handle things. She'll help handle things for me so I can get it done. But I don't want to cash that in too much, because it's important to make sure that I help my wife with all the stuff she needs help with, than just constantly be having her handle everything so that I can make a new t-shirt in a day, when I can make it in 2 days and not have her get stressed out, so it's kind of better to do it that way. But that's short game, right? And the problem is with the t-shirts, you're not building characters and story arcs and this stuff that like The Simpsons. You're building stuff that's it's short game. Stickers, short game. Patches, short game. Now the valuable thing though about building a bunch of short game items is that over time there is a long game to it. The long game is that over time you end up with a catalog. What do I mean by that? I mean, you will literally have a catalog somebody can open with a body of work that you can sell. So you wouldn't have one t-shirt, but let's say you have 100 t-shirts in your catalog, and with all manner of genre and topics. Maybe you have ocean shirts, and you have desert t-shirts, you have mountain goat or bighorn sheep t-shirts, and you have bear t-shirts and wolf t-shirts, you know, and you could have multiple designs of these different niches in your catalog to where like, oh, if you come across, if you're at a market and there's some guy that walks by your booth and his thing is tortoises, and you have a whole selection of tortoise shirts, that guy's gonna go crazy. He's gonna be like, holy cow, these tortoise shirts are incredible. Because where do you get a tortoise shirt at? Especially one that's not lame. They're all lame. The only tortoise shirts I've ever seen that are pretty awesome are the ones that I made myself. And I'm not saying that to flex or to brag. I'm just saying that because I have to tell the truth. And the truth is, there's not a lot of artists making really good tortoise shirts. There's just not. It's a weird niche genre of t-shirt, and there's not a huge amount of people looking for tortoise shirts, you know. So that's one of the things about it, is you build a catalog, and then you can sell your catalog. You know, you can take that catalog to brick and mortar shops. You can take it to online websites. You can take it to you know, your to flea markets, to swap meets, to conventions, to reptile shows, to horse fairs, to whatever niches you've built your catalog into. You can take it and then sell your work. And that's where the short game becomes a long game. But I'm working on all the games because I'm a master of all. I want to master every game. And right now, the focus is on this game, which is the more of the long game right now. And I'm looking forward to it though, because I'm going to have a DVD, an actual physical DVD with my cartoon on it that you could buy. So like, imagine that, man. Like, DVDs are dead, you know? And then all of a sudden I'm showing up and I'm selling my animated cartoon. I'm selling it on a DVD with like an actual jewel case that I like illustrated and everything. How rad will that be? You know, you can still stream it, you can still watch it online and stuff, but there's going to be people that will want the Sam Crescent Art Strike Monsters DVD. All right, let's do a rendering layer. And, oh wait, no, before I do that, we got to do line weights. So we're almost done with this here. We've got to do some line weights on these characters and get the silhouette value in. I think I'll go with 8. And so all I'm doing is I tried to use a dead line, meaning no thick or thin value to it at all. On the drawings, all these little drawings of this character. Now I'm gonna reinforce the outline, which is the silhouette value of each pose, and that'll make it kind of read as a large solidified shape. Then after this, I go in and I'll add some thick and thin lines that follow light source logic, lighting logic, basically, on the character. Now this is the style of inking that I won't even call this inking, more like digital drawing, because there's no ink here. But this is the style that I'm using for this comic book. This thing. Now, if I was inking traditionally with a brush, I do it differently. And I try to do things even more painterly when I do it that way. And I will show you in the future how to ink with a brush on these streams. Once I get my traditional art setup going, it just takes time. Right now, we've been doing pretty good, showing up every day, trying to stream. It's definitely different. What I did before streaming was I would work like this every day, but I would just listen to YouTube. And I'd watch all manner of YouTube videos, like all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, part of the thing that kept me from streaming for so long was like, well, I won't be able to listen to YouTube anymore. And so, because I have several friends, and one of my friends, Scott, was telling me like really adamantly, like, you need to start doing this. And he's been streaming, and he teaches people Linux on live streams, and he's done well with it. He's like, yeah, you can. There'll be people that will want to watch you draw your comics and stuff. And I was like, okay, and I would set it up, and then I wouldn't follow through, or things would be difficult. Like I'd log into OBS and everything would be broken, and then trying to figure out how to fix it. And now I started just doing one platform at a time, and then adding more platforms, and it was making, I was able to stick through it finally. And I don't remember what else I was going to say about that. Well, what I'm doing is, I don't even remember where I was going with that thought. It just left me. Oh yeah, so YouTube. So and some people are like, yeah, you can just put your headphones on and listen to YouTube, but just stream while you're working, so that at least the work's kind of getting seen more. And I'm like, but you gotta engage with people, man. You can't just like put on your headphones and expect. Let me turn this down a little, it's getting loud. You can't just turn on your headphones and expect people to, the audience, if you ever find one, you can't just ignore it. So I said, all right, I'm going to do the best I can to stream and just talk nonstop the entire time. Because what they say is, if you can't talk, if you're not talking all the time, then nobody's going to watch your stream. Like, you need to be somehow talking nonstop. So, all right, I can do that. I'll just talk nonstop about whatever. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I want to stream because I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. I have nothing to talk about. That was today. I was like, I'm supposed to start streaming now, but I've got nothing to talk about. Now I'm putting pressure on myself to have to try and think of things to talk about. All right, that's no good. I've got to just stream it. And if I have nothing to talk about, then I'll just be quiet. But so far, I've just been rambling about things, and so it's worked out. Now, I was the other day, I was drawing some backgrounds, some of the card art for Zombie Command, and I'd already done streaming, and I was like, I'm just gonna relax and like watch YouTube while I do it for this session here. And so I started working on the zombie command. I put on YouTube, and I haven't watched any YouTube forever. And so there's all kinds of like stuff that looks kind of interesting. And holy cow, man, I'm like, I forgot how terrible the ads are on YouTube now. Like they're almost unbearable when it comes to ads. Like it's worse than cable television, man. And then when they came out with those, I remember when they in like the early 2000s, they came out with these boxes that recorded your TV. So then you would watch your recorded television shows and fast forward and skip through the commercials. And it almost seems silly. Like you're paying, and you rent these boxes from the cable company. Like, so like you're paying like hundreds of dollars for like this box to record your cable TV shows so that you can then fast forward, skip the ads when you watch them. Like the whole thing just seems so silly and weird and backwards in so many ways. But and then streaming came out, and you're like, oh, this is great. You just watch it. I don't have to pay cable television anymore. I don't have to pay for that stupid box. I don't have to have things scheduled and recorded. When I want to watch it, it'll be streaming, and I just watch it. Well, this is the way it goes always with technology, is it improves your life at first, and then it makes your life worse. And that's exactly what's happened with streaming. Now, everything streams, and every single thing that's streaming, they all want you to pay for it separately. So, there's people I know, I've cut all my streaming stuff. My family still has, I let it, I was like, you get one platform, that's it. So we still have, I think it's like a bundle of some kind. I don't remember what it is, but I think Netflix is still on it. And I think I don't remember what else we have with it. But there's a time when like, even my household had like, I swear there was like 4 different things that was being paid for, subscriptions like this. And I'm like, this is more than cable. What are we doing here? We got to cut this stuff. And so we cut all of them off so that we don't have a bill higher than a cable bill, But it's still like, it's still not as good as it, I don't know. So anyway, the YouTube ads are so bad that I'm like, I can't even watch this. This is terrible. I'm not even gonna watch YouTube anymore because these ads are not worth it, and they're trying to get you to constantly buy YouTube Premium. So it's like another subscription. They're just gonna bleed you out with subscriptions, And I don't want all these companies bleeding me out. I don't need any of this stuff. I don't need to watch any of it. And then I go on these streaming platforms. I'm thinking this is so much more nice. There's no ads everywhere and everything. You can just watch stuff on these platforms. How come everybody's not just doing this? This is so much better. So I don't really miss YouTube that much, to be honest, watching it, because it's just gotten so awful. But we'll see what happens. I mean, this is on YouTube. But YouTube it's supposed to have good discoverability, but I think it's going to have really hard discoverability for me because there's so many people that are broadcasting on YouTube. And it'll take YouTube a while to figure out even what to do with these streams. And I don't really know that they'll work that well for building any kind of an audience for this, because I'll be honest, like what I'm doing here, it's not really that interesting. It doesn't really even look that impressive, to tell you the truth. It'll look more impressive when it's all colored and put together as a comic book, but when you're just seeing these little line drawings of these kind of cartoon looking characters and stuff, I mean, it's not at this stage, it's just not compelling enough. Now, and I'll start coloring them, and maybe that will make it more compelling if I start putting up the coloring process more. I don't know. But I'm not gonna be delusional about this and say, "Oh yeah, like these little cartoon drawings are the next thing. They're so awesome. Everybody's gonna want to watch it." Probably not the case, to be honest. But maybe people will be like, "Whoa, why is he drawing all these little cartoon drawings? They're so these weird characters and stuff. Like, what is going on?" That's hoping. That's what I'm hoping people will do and think about. But you never know. So I'm just putting some line weights in on this guy. Getting some of these underplanes in. Let's draw his backpack here. Whoops. It's gonna be like that, and over here, like that. We gotta thicken this line more because it's form that goes here and here. That's pretty cool. Let's see here. What else? Got some line weights on that. Put some line weights on here. There's something going on with this hand. We need to put a line weight on this. On there. You know, I'm actually pleasantly satisfied with this little group of baby monkey cartoon characters. Kind of fun. Now, let's do the render. Oh, whoa! Before we do the rendering layer, let's go to the G Pen, and we'll put in a few little, you know, shadow indications here and there. Again, I want most of the, like, I'm not putting like big cast shadows on them like this. You know, we could do that, and a big shadow there and a shadow down his arm. We could do all that and give this guy like a ton of weight, you know, and it would look kind of cool. Maybe I should do that. But I was hoping that we do that more with the color. But you know, maybe we should do it. You know, it'd be like that. Not really the direction that I want to go with this, though. I mean, I got to admit, though, that looks a lot better, don't you think? I mean, it just does. As much as it's not where I want to go with this, I feel like we can always put color holds on it, and these are skills that I have. Why do I not make use of them? Oh dear. I just realized that he doesn't have his backpack on in this scene. So let's rectify that problem. Backpack. My daughter, when she was little, watched Dora the Explorer all the time. And so that backpack song will occasionally rear its head up and pop itself back into my head. That kid's program, man. Was pretty lousy. The characters all like yelled in that show all the time. Can you find the red ball? See if we can find the red ball. And Dora would be like yelling. Are you to me? She would English. So the idea, I guess, was that you would learn Spanish by watching it. I guess it kind of maybe if you might learn a few vocabulary words that way. I've never been great with languages, unfortunately. But also, maybe I never was really had the chance to learn languages the right way, which is, for me, would be probably more like trying to speak it with people than academics and stuff. Yikes. Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks cooler when I put these like kind of shadows and stuff on this guy. Kind of indicates some fur. That is a lame looking line. What pen am I using? Oh, I'm using the felt pen. I'm like, why does this line look so lame? Now we know. That looks lame too. Now the thing is, like, when I ink with my brush, I actually get more of the lines I like than with these stinking digital tools. But I will embrace technology, all of its iterations. I guess, I don't know. Whatever. And if I start doing that, it'll turn into a rendered piece. That's pretty cool, I think. I'll take that one. Let's get some stuff on this guy. I'm doing it right on the characters. Oh well. Because I was doing this on a layer above the character, so if we wanted to just turn this off after we colored it, because we want it to be more painterly. But the good thing about doing this is it gives the colorist something more to follow, because then he sees, oh, because I have established a light source for him, and then they don't have to try to invent it all. And if the colorist, like, I'm gonna be honest, I can invent light sources better than my colorist can. So, And that's not a knock. I have a very good colorist. But it's just the way it is. So, that looks pretty cool. Just the simplest of shadows will add more weight and dimension to the subject. What is going on, man? We've been going for an hour and 20 minutes now. And once I'm done with this, I'll take a break. And then I'm going to be working on sound design on my animated feature. I didn't mean to do that. There's stuff in here that's missing. Like, I got to put his hand things on him. I got to change that. And then this, I'm going to have to put more information in this panel. But that's pretty good. That's pretty good. We'll stop with that for the day. So what I'm going to do is turn off this. There's the baby monkey. 4 poses. Pretty cool. Tomorrow we'll be working on this panel. Then we'll be going back, refining stuff, everything like that. I'm going to stop for the day. What am I going to do? Maybe I'll stream later. I'm not going to stream the sound design thing. It's super boring. So if I'm not back for an evening stream session, I will be back tomorrow. That's it for the Sam Crescent Art Show today. The stream is ending. Thank you for stopping by. I'll see you on the next one.